The Ryder Cup is coming up soon, starting September of 2023, and there's a lot of talk about it. Qualifications, past and present standings, and some interesting anecdotes. Getting ready to see our ideas about who is outstanding enough to qualify for the European team. And as a cherry on top, a never-heard-before fun fact from our very own Captain Luke Donald. So stay tuned and we'll get right into it. First up, Luke Donald sledges US Ryder Cup team about drinking. A recent podcast about the upcoming Golf Cup featured Europe's Captain Luke Donald, who was kind enough to share a funny story with us. Some might think it's funny, but I'm sure the Americans think otherwise. It sounded like a bit of an insult to us. Luke mentions his recent visit to the Oakland Hills and how he was asked by one of the members if he knew about the barbell story. The American team spent a total of $600 on drinks, whereas the European team, wait for it, spent a total of $30,000 on booze. Unbelievable. You would think even $600 is a lot just for letting loose. The Europeans, however, like to have a good time, in Luke's words. Who knew having a good time could cost you over $30,000 bucks? Sheesh. Now that the fun part is over, it's time to get serious and talk less about booze and more about who can qualify for Captain Luke Donald's European team. Without further ado, let's get right into it. And now, who are the top contenders for the European team? There's a lot to consider regarding who is eligible enough to qualify for Donald's team, the players standing, and whether or not Donald will be willing to have them on his team. The most likely to make the team are Rahm, Hovland, McIlroy, Hatton, Fleetwood, Peters, Fitzpatrick, Lowry, McIntyre, and Hogart, Detry, and R. Hogart. These 12 players have better odds of qualifying for the European team at the time being. However, these standings will likely change, and we're sure Donald feels the same way. First up, Rory McIlroy. McIlroy holds a high standing in the world points and European lists. It's safe to say he has to be one of the guaranteed spots for Donald's team. Not only is he known for his spectacular form, but he can prove to be the winning cause for the team. He too shares a strong sentiment for not letting live players have a spot on the team, but rather giving the rookies a chance. Number 2, we have Shane Lowry and Jon Rahm. These two leading players also have had guaranteed spots on the team. Not only do their standings give them a higher chance of being selected, but their experience could make Donald pick them to act as mentors and inspiration for the younger ones on the team. On number 3, we'll talk about Robert McIntyre. Most fans and even renowned golfers expect Robert to make the team. He stands third on both lists, and to favor his pick, he won the Italian Open Championship in 2022, in which he defeated Matt Fitzpatrick. Even McIlroy thinks that McIntyre should be on the team. Coming up, do we expect any Italians on the team? It's only fair that we expect an Italian on the European team, right? Guido Migliozzi is an outstanding golf player. He brought the trophy home only recently at the Kazoo Open de France. Not only that, but he was partnered up with Luke Donald for the 2022 Italian Open. It's safe to assume that he's a contender for the team in Donald's mind. Number 5, we'll talk about Francesco Molinari. We know we're already talking about one Italian making it to the team, but another can't hurt. It can do quite the opposite. His record surely favors him, and wouldn't it be cool to see him and potential prospect Migliozzi working together on the same team? Another fun fact you probably already know is that his brother Eduardo is the team's vice captain. Next up, let's talk about our power couple, Thomas Detry and Thomas Peters. Detry and Peters can act as a power couple, not in the dating world, but definitely in the golfing world. Keeping in mind their past performances in the 2018 World Cup, we can see them doing well paired up with the European team. We hope Donald's view on this duo is the same as ours. Coming up, how does a pair of twins on the same team sound to you? Wasn't it always so exciting to have Serena and Venus Williams in tennis? The famous sports sisters. Similarly, over here in golf, we have two very talented twins, Nikolai and Rasmus Hogart. As far as Nikolai is concerned, he needs to be a bit more consistent. On the other hand, his brother Rasmus seems more reliable. Let's hope that Donald likes the idea of twins being on his team. To be honest, this whole concept seems pretty appealing to us. Wouldn't you agree? Next, can Paul Casey make it? The Saudi golf champion Paul Casey has the potential to make the team, but the real question here is, will he even be a part of the championship, considering the whole live issue? Other factors such as his eligibility criteria and Donald's willingness to make him part of the team appear to be minor issues. There's a high chance that Casey will opt out of the tournament. On number 9, we have Thomas Detry. Let's start by talking about Thomas Detry. If we speak about world points, he's only a few points short behind McIntyre in power. His talent leaves us all awestruck, and we truly believe he can live up to his aptitude. As we just mentioned, his win with Peters is something to consider. That could be a point of decisiveness for him to make it to Donald's team. He stands on top of the other players selected for the wildcard pick. Don't go anywhere just yet. We're only just getting started. Watch our video till the end to get a good understanding of the big intriguing question. Who's going to make the European team for the Ryder Cup? Moving forward, we have Antoine Rosner. Rosner is stepping up his game and making himself a practical pick for the European team. No doubt he's being called out for his putting being too short, but his form is known to be immaculate. If we talk about the race to Dubai points, Guido Migliozzi is ahead of him. And yes, Migliozzi is Italian and has added benefit of familiarity for being picked in the European team. Rosner's form and ball-hitting capabilities are going through the roof. Next up, we'll discuss Ewan Ferguson. It does appear that the odds aren't too much in favor of Mr. Ferguson, but let's not rule out out the possibility of him being selected just yet. After all, his standings in the Race to Dubai tournaments is above McIntyre, even if it's just by 1 point. There's no doubt that his form isn't exactly top-notch and nowhere near matching McIntyre's form. But hey, there's always room for improvement, and not to mention, he has nonetheless achieved a lot. Coming up, will Olsen make the team? Olsen is one of the top picks for the team. His game keeps improving, though we can agree that even he cannot match up to his previous capabilities. Nobody can forget his amazing performance in the 2018 Ryder Cup. His record can act quite favorable for him in making the team. We have our fingers crossed that he starts next year with high hopes leading him to make the team. Next up, are Longass's standings eligible? Longass's current standing places him in the company of players like James Morrison and Julian Brunn. Well, it seems to be that Longass has struggled this season without a doubt. It has still been fulfilling for him, especially in comparison to the players with similar standings. He appears to be a determined sportsman who has the potential to make it to the Ryder Cup. It shouldn't take a lot for a guy like him to make himself stand out and be noticeable to Donald. Lastly, we have Viktor Hovland and Sepp Straka. Straka is slowly making his way to the captain's sights. Let's all appreciate this young man's first win at the PGA Tour in February earlier this year. Not only that, but he came second place to Mackenzie Hughes at the Sanderson Farms Championship, although Hovland didn't give his best performance in the 2021 Ryder Cup. He's come a long way since then and still has time to improve his game and make himself a captain's pick. We all do remember how he wowed us at the Italian Open. He finished T34 being paired with Thomas Bjorn. That's all for today, folks. Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Who do you think is going to make it to Donald's team? Did you find the Boo story funny or insulting? If you enjoyed this video, press the thumbs up button and stay tuned for more.